please welcome creator, writer, director, executive producer, Seth MacFarlane, and she plays Susan on Ted, Alanna Ubach.
How am I supposed to work these balls into my seating position? I don't know what's happening here. This is a weirdly intimate, brightly lit room. Yeah, do I lean against this? Is that what's...
Yeah, let's get cozy.
You? This is fine, yeah?
We're going to get cozy. We're going to move balls around.
Does this look remotely human?
Okay, hello, I'm so excited to be here. This is the only time where I can say strap on, weed, calling porn lines, things like that.
You could say those things anytime.
Anytime. But I mean in front of my bosses. These are all things
It's not like this is the rap, you're fine.
Okay, this is all from Ted, season 2. I just want to know, how far can you push it before, the head honchos are like, Seth, you've gone too far with that? What is the, no, we're not doing that?
I mean, on Peacock, pretty much everything is, they're, look at their name. Everything is fine. It's not like we're on a network. On streaming, it really is, up to your own judgment. But there are steps along the way that prevent you from crossing the line. There's, the table read. You get as many people as you can together to listen to the script. And if there are things that are just too offensive to be funny, you're met with dead silence in the room.
Right.
And if it makes it through that stage, then you do have... I think there is actually a broadcast standards person at Peacock. I don't know who it is. I've never met them.
Never met them.
I've never had a call. But I'm assuming they're there.
Right.
But yeah, we've never we do try to be relatively responsible within the guidelines that we're given.
Yeah.
Love that. I want to know, Alanna, what is it like when you get these scripts and you're doing that table read and you're like, oh, I've got to say this out loud?
Oh, you know what? I love Susan so much. She could say bananas, 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 bananas for 30 minutes, and I'd be happier than a pig in mud. Susan, to me, is very sacred. She is actually, it was personal, this character to Seth. He actually grew up with this character. So, I always made it a point to really, handle her with kitten gloves and in the best way possible.
It's what Alanna says between takes that's more the issue.
Absolutely. And that's why we're here, because that hasn't been recorded or documented.
Well, I want to know what you say between takes. Give me an example.
Oh, gosh, no. Well, Maddie, I fucked up the line. Can we do that one more time? Okay, let's do it. And
yeah, but that's benign compared to
100%. Yeah, let's keep it clean.
Yeah,
let's keep it clean.
Keep it clean for variety.
Okay. Okay, so one episode that I really loved, aside from the Mrs. Robotech episode, which is episode 1, if you've seen it, do not watch it with kids. You can if you want to.
It's episode 2. But...
Sorry, episode 2. But the Dungeons and Dragons episode was so much fun. You go full on, John and Ted are looking for weed as you do, and they go on this thing. How did you even come up with that and be like, we're going to go full on and put you in costume and...
Oh, that was a lot because, first of all, I know nothing about Dungeons and Dragons because I am a 50-year-old actor, and I don't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons. So when everyone was so excited, Alanna, the Dungeons and Dragons episode is coming on. Oh, okay. ChatGPT, what the fuck is Dungeons and Dragons? And then that's how I learned it. But I was invited to play a Dungeons & Dragons game before this started filming, and I didn't show up. I didn't, because I'm addicted to breathing. I did not understand Dungeons & Dragons, and I never will. And I'm damn proud of it, Jasmine.
The writer of the episode, Chelsea Davison, is an experienced DM.
Oh, aficionado.
I guess it's called a DM. I certainly wouldn't know, but she's a DM, a dungeon master who basically, puts together the whole routine. And she set one up for the TED writers' room. So before we started writing the episode, we just spent a day playing Dungeons and Dragons, and of course, like 2/3 of the room had never played it before, and then some of us had, but it was a great write-off, I guess.
The whole subculture, I mean, the fan base to Dungeons and Dragons, and then the guest star that we had who was available, this huge star in the Dungeons and Dragons world. I didn't know who the kid was.
Spoil it. You can spoil it.
Yeah, I have socks older than him, and he just walks in, just waving his ego in the air, and constantly wanted purified water in between the takes. He was a diva.
You're fucking insane. You know that? You're just fucking. That's why we love her.
Better
That's why
be
she's
insane
so
than
wonderful.
boring. Go ahead.
To have
Jasmine.
this kind of insanity just below the surface, I think that's what it takes to make a great actor. I'm
really actually quite boring in real life, but
not
there
true.
you go.
Not true.
I swear.
I want to come to your set one day and just observe wouldn't you just like to be like a fly on the wall when they're shooting the show? But then going to the very serious, because you do also tackle abortion. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, what are they going to do?
My favorite episode.
It's one of the best episodes. It's also really funny too. Like, how did you find that line of like, we're going to tackle this, but we're going to keep it in line with Ted and just go?
I think that was the one episode that people were afraid to shoot, right? Was that the one?
Nobody showed up.
No one showed up for it.
The set was empty that day. We had to. No, we thought maybe this will be our Emmy. Comedies do still win Emmys, right? That's still a thing. It's possible.
It has bear elements to it. No, but yeah. It was. It's ballsy, and it's pushing the envelope, and underneath all the absurdity, there's a message, and it's smart. And it winks at you, and you either get it or you don't.
The abortion episode winks at you. It's yeah. I mean, I always use All in the Family as like the North Star. I was a huge Norman Lear fan, and in writing that episode, that's kind of what we tried to look to for inspiration. That however we approach this, every character's perspective has to be true to their character. It can't ever be a writer using a character as a megaphone. And I think, hopefully we succeeded in that. Hopefully each character kind of presents their point of view and it feels real as opposed to, anybody on a soapbox.
Take me into your creative space. Like, I'm curious, what does that look like when you're putting together a season like this?
Let me try. Okay, I'm trying to condense this. I mean, it's you just mean the process?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's. I mean, it's once the script is written, it's we shoot the plates, which shooting the episode, the actors' performances, the plates for the bear. There's a stuffed bear on set that stands in for so the VFX folks can see how it's lit and how the light catches it and whatnot. In fact, before the show started filming, we gave each actor a TED that they were instructed to carry around in their day-to-day life, just so they could get comfortable with like where his eyes were and the height that they were going to be working with. But of course, they weren't allowed to, as Max points out, they weren't allowed to tell people that they were on TED. So these poor actors walking around with a teddy bear and just like looking like lunatics.
Weird.
But yeah, I mean, it's about 3.5 months to shoot the season, and then about 8 or 9 months to put the bear in. And we have an amazing visual effects team here in LA, run by Blair Clark, and Frame Store Melbourne does our actual visual effects work, and they're just extraordinary. It's an amazing group of animators who really understand acting, which is such a gift.
How has that technology evolved from season 1 to season 2?
It's evolved, well, since the movies, it's evolved a lot. And, when we did the movies, I had to wear this whole get-up with all of these sensors that were strapped to my body, and I was like plugged into this mainframe, whatever the hell it was.
For season 1 as well.
Yeah. And so when I would sometimes forget that I was wearing it, and I would run to talk to the actors, and this thing would be ripped out of the, whatever hard drive was, recording my images and my movements, and we didn't have to do that in season 2. There was a program called View Screen that was developed at Fuzzy Door by our tech folks, and it was literally just an iPhone. I was standing there, doing the gestures, doing the movements, and it was just picked up by that program. And so it's come a long way even since season 1, and certainly a long way since the films.
Alanna, I've got to ask you then, what was it like carrying Ted around in your daily life?
Well, first of all, I thought he was like Cousin It. I thought he would come up to my waist, and he came down. I thought he was this tall. He's this tall. He's very little. And so using that as an eye line, I thought, okay, so that's what I'm having to look down. Not exactly like this, but like this. And so he was sort of the family pet. And so I envisioned, I have a dog. He's just going to be the dog.
You have fish, too, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
I'm a fish aficionado. I'm a aficionado. A fish. Hey, you see what I did there?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Yes. But yes, I love my pets, and
Helen Keller could see what you did.
Absolutely, and that's how I just thought of him as the family pet who could talk.
Did you start interacting with that
Pardon?
bear? Did you interact with that bear? Were you like talking to him?
Oh, absolutely. And then finally you're on set and it's nothing like what you practice with. There are these 2 eyeballs connected to this pole, and you're basically looking at those 2 eyeballs the entire time. So they don't exactly have the bear there the entire time. When the bear is there, it's called the stuffy pass.
But
right?
to your credit as an actor and to the whole cast, it's like the eyeballs are there when we can, when they're not going to disrupt the shot. But most of the time, you guys are acting to empty space.
Sure, and we can hear Seth's voice coming from a booth to the right. So
right, or my house.
Getting used to. Yeah. So when you'd hear Ted, you'd have to look this way, but then he'd be talking that way, and so you'd want to react. What? Oh gosh! One more time.
That is interesting. Like eye contact for actors, like it's such your instinct is always to look at the person who's talking.
Sure.
I am so the opposite. Like at table reads, the first time I did a table read with like actual actors who weren't voiceover actors, right. I was like, oh my God, they're all looking at me.
They're looking for a reaction.
Table read. What are you doing, weirdo? Right. And it's, but it's like how you connect.
Sure.
Yeah.
Gotta sell it, baby.
I mean, as I said, this whole season is great. The other scene that we've got to talk about is when they're working in Dunkin' Donuts and a president walks in and it's Bill Clinton. Talk about that and how you pulled that off.
Yeah, that was, we had done, that's something we couldn't have done even in season 1, I think. It's, although I'm not sure, because on the Orville, when we had Dolly Parton on, we did use some AI or some deepfake technology rather, to essentially create 1990 Dolly Parton. And it was sort of a similar approach here. On Family Guy, we had done Bill Clinton 100 times, and with 2D animation, the audience is obviously very forgiving. They don't expect it to look exactly like, whoever it is, because it's 2D. And here it was, it's different because it's a live action show. So we said, well, if we're going to do this, either we have to, just do what they did in Harold and Kumar with George W. Bush, find an actor that looks a lot like him, or it somehow has to be indistinguishable from Bill Clinton. And so we tried traditional CGI, we tried prosthetics, and everything just looked really terrifying. Like it just looked all really scary. And so we said, well, what if we just did like a deep fake? What if we did, actually, used what is essentially AI as a tool, which I think is the future of AI used responsibly. I think this is a great example of that, where it's like there are still craftspeople and artists who are managing all of it, but the tool they're using is I sort of liken it to, what Ray Harryhausen used to do with, stop motion dinosaurs compared to what Jurassic Park did. The technology changed, but the artists remained present, and I think this is a good example of that. So that's what we did. It was a deep fake. I went in there, I put on a wig and just did the scene, and then when they sent it back to me, it was Bill Clinton.
But I thought you were uncanny.
What's that?
I thought you were uncanny during the shoot day.
Uncanny?
Uncanny. That's great.
It's a fun episode. Okay, to that, what scene for either of you was the most, you had to do 20 takes because neither of you could stop laughing?
I had so much fun in Susan is the New Black. Yes, it was so much fun working with all of those great character actresses at the detention center. Oh my
In an actual prison.
In an actual prison. Yeah, and they were rioting at one point. We had to shut the detention center down. It was so exciting. Gave me so much life.
Were they rioting?
Oh, yeah, the boys next door.
I think they shield me from those things.
They did. They didn't want to scare you. They didn't want to give you a heart attack. But, in retrospect, I look back and think, wow, I hope to be that lucky to be performing with these wonderful character actresses. A lot of them stand-up artists, and they're so fun, and they improvised at the last minute, and they were just wonderful to work with.
But that speech treat Susan gave was really beautiful. Okay, did you write maxi pad slippers? Where did that come from?
What?
Maxi pad slippers.
God, as much as I wish I could take credit for that line, no, that was, I can't remember who pitched that. For me, there are two moments. Nobody's going to think this is as funny as I do, but when Maddie's brother is wrestling him to the ground, and it just gets really heated and violent, and Scott Grimes sits up and goes, "Oh, I took a shit." That kills me every time, but those are just my issues. There was a scene in the pilot where John and Ted get stoned for the first time, and they're walking down the stairs in slow motion, and you hear, what's the song, the Easy Rider song? What's that called? What's that called?
Low Rider.
Low Rider.
Low Rider.
I'm ignorant of anything post-1965, but yeah, Low Rider. And so you see the scene where they're in slow motion, they look all cool, and then you immediately do a hard cut to what they are actually doing, and it's just them walking down the stairs in slow motion going, ha, 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 ha. And Max could not get through that scene, and so thus I could not get through that scene because he would start laughing and I would start laughing. And finally, I think after about 20 takes, we were able to generate what you see on screen.
I love it. So how's season 3 coming along?
That's really up to Universal and to Peacock. They're somewhere, I've said this before, there's a Scrooge McDuck vault that somebody's diving into every morning in their pajamas. and if they want to scoop up a handful and toss it our way, then we can maybe do a season 3.
All right, we're going to manifest that right here. I almost called you Ted.
By the way, give this woman an Emmy for Christ's sake.
Yes.
What the fuck?
So good in this episode. She's so good in this series.
She's so good.
I'll wear my wedding dress
This
on the
Euphoria,
Emmys. I know
come
what I'm
on.
going to wear. Just kidding.
I want to say thank you again, Alanna. Yes, she's phenomenal.
Bless you. Thank you.
And Seth, thank you so much. And thank you all. Stay seated for the next conversation.
Thank you so much.